In today's video, we break down a cinematic masterpiece with one of the most complex and intertwined storyline ever made. Inception. I'm sure most of you already seen this movie, but maybe there are some things you missed or didn't completely understand, and this video might help you with that. But I couldn't tackle this film's complicated plot alone, so I had to invite a friend who traveled all the way from Montana to help me out. Please give a warm welcome to Earl!
Howdy folks, name's Earl. I'm a professional redneck and also a huge fan of those moving pictures. When I heard he was in a pickle, I knew I had to saddle up my horse and do my patriotic duty. But enough of the fancy talk. Inception, a film created and directed by the mastermind Sir Christopher Edward Nolan.
Wait, Sir as in a knight?
You got them right. Nolan was knighted for his contributions to film by King Charles in 2024. But fancy armor isn't his only strong suit. His cinematography is best known for having complex storytelling and dark and gritty aesthetic.
And Inception is no exception. A story about a thief who steals information by entering a person's subconscious. That doesn't sound too complicated, right? Well, counting the different dream levels, the different perception of time, the kick, and the state of limbo, and you have a whole lot of mess.
We decided to begin the explanation with a plot summary and explain some of the more complicated or less clear things along the way.
So let's get right into it. The film opens with Dominic Cobb washing up on the shore and then being taken to an elderly man named Saito.
This scene is actually the first half of the scene that is at the end of the film.
But the story flashes back to a failed dream heist. Cobb and his partner Arthur specialize in extracting secrets from people's subconscious by entering their dreams. But their latest job targeting Saito goes wrong when Cobb's late wife Mal appears as a projection from Cobb's subconscious and sabotages them.
But instead of taking revenge, Saito offers Cobb a risky but life-changing deal. If he can plant an idea, Inception, in the mind of Robert Fisher, the heir to a business empire, Saito will clear Cobb's criminal record, allowing him to return home to his children.
And Cobb accepted the deal.
Because he knew that Inception was possible, since he already performed it on someone else.
On his wife, Mal.
It is explained later in the movie that Cobb and Mal were experimenting with the depth of dream levels. But one time they went too deep and ended up in limbo. Limbo is an unconstructed dream space where nothing exists and it is easy for a dreamer to lose grasp on reality in there.
But after some time, Mal chose to forget that their world wasn't real and accepted limbo as a real world and refused to leave.
That's why she locked away her totem, the spinning top. Without it, she couldn't tell if she was in a dream or not.
And how exactly do the totems work?
The totems can tell you if you are in a dream or not, but they do not tell you whether you are in your own dream. They only tell you if you are in someone else's dream. That's why you must have something unique as a totem and no one but you can touch it, because then they would know the weight and behavior of it and could easily replicate it. And for example, the top would always spin in dream and only in reality it would topple after some time.
And so to escape limbo, Cobb decided to perform Inception on Mal.
Yeah, and he did it by planting an idea in her mind that her world wasn't real, by spinning the top and locking it again in the safe.
So when she would open the safe again, she would see that the top keeps on spinning, meaning that she is still in a dream.
This creates doubt in Mal's mind about their reality, eventually leading her to question everything around her.
So Cobb convinces her that death is the only escape from this false reality, and so they lie down on the tracks together and wait for the arriving train. But even after escaping the limbo, the idea that their world isn't real didn't escape Mal's mind, and she still thinks they are in a dream, leading to her thinking that death is again the only escape, and she commits suicide.
And since Mal before her death told her attorney that she was fearful for her safety and that Cobb threatened to kill her, Cobb becomes a wanted man and has to escape.
Phew, so that completes Mal's storyline, right?
Not quite. To complete this job, Cobb and his team has to create a multi-layered dream world where each level brings them deeper into Fisher's subconscious. But as they descend, Mal's projection from Cobb's subconscious grows stronger, sabotaging their efforts.
And the plan spirals into chaos when Saito is mortally wounded, forcing them to rush deeper into subconscious limbo to save him and complete the mission.
And in the end, Cobb confronts Mal's projection, finally letting go of his guilt. Meanwhile, Ariadne jumps with Fisher off a building so they get a synchronized kick back into reality.
The kick is often mentioned in the movie, but what exactly is it?
The kick is a method used to awaken someone from a dream within a dream. You usually by inducing the sensation of falling or hitting water. But when using sedative that allows shared dreaming within multiple level dreams, only synchronized kicks can create enough impact to wake a sleeper. And since the deeper the level, the bigger the time dilation is, a kick that occurs simultaneously in, let's say, level 2 lasts longer in level 4, and therefore making it easier to synchronize kicks in the different dream levels.
Wait, so when the whole team gets out in time for different kicks, but Cobb doesn't, he gets stuck in limbo?
Yeah, in order for the mission to be successful, he has to rescue Saito for him to honor their deal.
So how did Cobb find Saito?
That's a great question. Since Saito died as a result of his injuries earlier in the heist, he arrived in Limbo long before Cobb. That's why he aged into an old man thanks to Limbo's accelerated time. But how exactly Cobb finds Saito isn't explicitly mentioned in the film. We only know that Limbo is a shared subconscious space for all dreamers. So perhaps their minds may have naturally connected over time.
And when Cobb finally reaches him, he reminds Saito of their real-world deal agreement, leading Saito to pick up the gun.
Implying they both commit suicide in order to return to reality.
Just like Cobb did with Maul.
Exactly!
Then they all wake up on the plane and Saito completes his part of the deal by making a phone call and cleaning Cobb's name and his criminal record,
allowing him to go back home and see his kids.
But the big question is, when Cobb gets home and finally spins his top to see if he's dreaming or not, does it fall? Or does it keep spinning?
In the end, it isn't important whether the top keeps spinning or not, since even Cobb doesn't care anymore. What's important is that he can be with his children again. Nolan purposely didn't show the outcome just to let the viewer interpret it their own way.
And that's the end of Inception, and this video. We hope you enjoyed it and maybe even learned a thing or two. Did we miss anything? Let us know down in the comments. And by the way, Earl will be staying here for a while, so he might even help me with future videos.
See y'all later, folks!